Good morning friends. In yesterday's lecture we had done a bar graph. So what we saw yesterday is we have got statistics, we have got data which we showed in a frequency table. But a pictorial representation is much easier to see. So we were studying graphs. Yesterday we did bar graph. Now you can see the bar graph is very good for non-numeric data. If you remember yesterday we did grocery, rent, education was shown in the form of bars. So bars are very easier to read, and the homework I had given to you was the number of sums that you do in the days of the week. Okay? So as you can see from the bar graph is very convenient when we have got non-numeric data, this is non-numeric, or we have got discontinuous or discrete data. But if we have say numeric values here which are continuous in nature, when the numeric values are continuous in nature, then we cannot use a bar graph. We move to the histogram. Okay? So remember, the bar graph is in the form of bars. But how we made the bars? On the x-axis we had non-numeric data, names, grocery, rent, education, medicine, fuel, entertainment, miscellaneous. Right, here I told you to do the number of sums you do in one day, in a week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So according to the number of, this is the numeric data. So according to the number of sums you do, that much height bar you have to make. So this is a bar graph having equal spacing in between. This is also very important. It should have equal spacing in between. But what if our data is a continuous data? What is a continuous data? You know, it is a class data, say 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 and so on. So here we have also numeric data. Even the x-axis has got numeric data which is continuous and y-axis is the frequency. So at that point of time, we do not use a bar graph, we will move to the histogram. So today we are going to work on the histogram, and as you saw, histograms are of two types. Histograms are having equal widths and varying widths, means the width is equal. Now what you will see, the difference between a bar graph and a histogram is in a bar graph there is space between the bars. In a histogram, because the data is continuous, there will be no space between the bars. So histogram is almost like a bar graph, the only difference there will be no space in between, and on the x-axis the data will be numerical and a continuous data. So let us see one example. Let us work out a sum so you will understand it much better. So as you can see on the board, we have made a table where the weights of students are given in kg and the number of students who fall in that category. So if you look at the first class, now this is, you can see 30.5 to 35.5, 35.5 to 40.5. So this is a continuous data. You can see this is a class which is continuous. So 30.5 to 35.5, 35.5 to 40.5, 40.5 to 45.5. So the weight is from 30.5 to 60.5 kg. Okay. Now I hope you remember the rule. If anybody has got a weight 35.5, you do not put it here. You put it over here. Remember that. If somebody has got a weight 50.5, 50.5 will come here. So these are the weights of the students. Now you can see this is numeric data which is continuous, and this is also numeric data which is the frequency. So now we will take the graph paper and not draw the bar graph but the histogram. So now we'll see how we make the histogram. So you have your graph paper with you, right? Again, what will you do? On the x-axis you will draw a line. On the y-axis you will draw a line, leaving a gap, and where both the lines meet, this is your origin which is 0, 0. Right. Now you can see 30.5 to 35.5. So we are going to put the weight where? On the x-axis. So here we are going to put the weights. Legend is the weight. Now 30.5 to 35.5, 35.5 to 40.5. So this is where we go. Now what you need to do, you can see this is a gap of 5. 30.5 to 35.5, 35.5 to 40.5 is a gap of 5. So how will I do? I will have to write from here 0.5 to 1.5 1.5 to 2.5, 2.5 to 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.8, 9.9 going. I will reach here, I will reach 30.5. Now you can see the data is here. 30.5 is actually reaching here, then 35.5 comes here, 40.5 comes here. So the data is gone outside the graph paper. Now how will you bring the data inside the graph paper? Because you have to see here, now since this is a numeric data, then the width has to be maintained. On the x-axis also, the numbers have to be maintained. So because it is 30.5 to 35.5, when did I start? I started from 0.5, then I jumped 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, and I go 7.5, 8.5, and I continue, and then I reach 30.5, where my first data starts, 9, 35.5, 40.5, and so on. Now, you can see we are starting from 30.5. The data starts here. So all this place has been left empty. There is no data here. Means we are wasting the space here. So what we can do is, what is the rule to be done? You break the line from here and shift the line. So now I broke it from here, so I can make it go inside. So 0.5, 1.5, 2.5, everything goes inside, and I keep on moving till 30.5 reaches here. So 30.5 shifted from there, and it has reached into my graph paper. So if you understand what I did, if I go by the scale 0.5, 1.5 and so on, 30.5 comes here. But since this space is empty, I removed the space. How? I broke the line from here and shifted the line inside. This line is shifted inside so that 30.5 reaches here. So what do I do with the remaining data which is gone? So that remaining data is indicated by the symbol is called a kink. Kink means a break. So this line shows that you have shifted your data. So if you do not start from 0.5, you do not start from 0. If you start from some other number, you should always put a kink over here. Now, on the x-axis, what will the scale be on the x-axis? So first you write the scale on the x-axis. 1 centimeter is how much kg? See, 30.5 to 35.5 is how much kg? It's 5 kg. So I will write here 1 centimeter is equal to 5 kg. So that is my scale on the x-axis. 1 centimeter is 5 kg. So 30.5 I got. Now I can change the rest. 30.5, 35.5, 40.5, 45.5. So every centimeter is now 1 kg. 50.5, 55.5, 60.5 and 65.5. Okay? I hope you can see. So 30.5, 35, I have put the lines here. So every line is indicated with these points. Equal spacing. Now you can see there is no gap in between. 30.5 after 5 units means 1 centimeter, 35.5 after 1 centimeter, 40.5 and so on. There are no gaps. In a histogram there is no gap. Okay. So this is the weight we put and the kink. Have you understood? Now we move to the frequency, the number of students. So the highest is 15. So to indicate, you can either, if there are 15 lines in your book, then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. If the 15 is too high, then you can jump with 2's. Say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's it. Okay, so you can even go 1, 2, 3, 4. That depends upon the size of your graph paper. If your graph paper has got enough height, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we start. From 30.5 to 35.5, there are 9. So where is 9? This is 8 and this is 10. So exactly in between 8 and 10, we'll have the 9. So this class is 30.5 to 35.5, which has got 9. Always use a scale. Do not do it with your hand. Okay? Then we have got 6. From 35.5 to 40.5, we have got 6. So this is 6. You can see we are having every 5 kg below. So this is having equal weight. This histogram is the histogram with equal weight. Then 40.5 to 40.5, there are 15. So 15 is over here between 14 and 16. So this is for 15. Then 40.5 to 50.5, we got 3. So 3 is between 2 and 4. We have it here. Then from 50.5 to 50.5 we have got 1 is below here, and 50.5 to 61 we have got 2, so 2 is right here. So this is a histogram. Now if you compare with the previous video, what is the difference between a histogram and a bar graph? The bar graph had non-numeric data or discontinuous data. Histogram has got a continuous data. So what is the scale we put here? We forgot to mention the scale on the y-axis. The y-axis is 1 centimeter is 2 students. So the scale has to be mentioned. If you do not mention the scale, you will lose half a mark. In the bar graph, you have to show the scale of the y-axis, but on a histogram, you have to show the x-axis. How much does 1 centimeter represent? And even the y-axis, how much does 1 centimeter represent? So if you understood what the king is, did you follow what the king is? The data is continuous and it is numeric, so we have to show all the data. But because the data is shifted here, I made a break in the line and I shifted the line here. So that shift is shown by the king. The data is continuous. It is same like the bar graph. The only difference, there is no space in between and the data down is numeric data. So this is the bar graph, sorry, the histogram of the weight of the students in kg, and the number of students are also shown. Okay, so the area in the graph gives the number of students. So what have we seen here? The rectangles erected are proportional to the corresponding frequencies. So if you see the height of the rectangle, it is corresponding to the frequency. Okay, the lengths in the rectangles are proportional to the frequencies. We draw the length according to the frequency. So what is this? This is a histogram having a equal width. Continuous data with equal width. Now we're looking for an example of data having varying width, means the width is not the same. If you see here, why the width has remained the same? The width has remained the same because in every column we have only got 5 kg, 5 kg. You can see 30.5 to 35.5 is 5 kg, 35.5 to 40.5 is 5 kg, 40.5 to 40.5 is 5 kg. This all is 5 kg. Because it is equal, 5 kg, 5 kg, 5 kg, we got the histogram of equal width. Now if this data is not the same, if the class length, what is this called? It is called the class length. You can see from 30.5 to 30.5 the class length is 5. From 35.5 to 45 point the class length is 5. So this is called the class length. The class length is 5 for all. Because it is 5 equal, we got equal width. Now if we go for data which doesn't have the same class length, then we will get a histogram of varying width. Let us work out an example. Okay, now put the new sum on the board. A test was taken of 90 students. 90 students gave a mathematics test and the teacher saw that 7 students have got marks between less than 20. Can you see that? Understand this sum very well. A mathematics test was taken of 90 students, a class of 90 students gave a mathematics test and the teacher saw the performance of the students. 7 students only have got marks less than 20 and only 8 students have got marks above 70. You can see otherwise from 20 to 30 there are 10 students, 30 to 40 there are 10 students, 40 to 50 there are 20 students, 50 to 60 there are 20. So here the number is high. But only 7 students got less than 20, only 8 students got above 70. So because this number was small, the teacher did not go for equal spacing. Not from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, from here also not 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100. So because the number was less, the teacher took less than 27 students, but 20 to 30, 10, 30 to 40 and so on. So if we make the histogram now. So let us make the histogram based on this data. Okay. Now what you will see in the histogram here, we start the same way with the graph paper, leaving one green line above, one line above, we draw the x-axis, leaving one line, we draw the y-axis. Now see the data, 0 to 20. So it is starting from 0. Now you can see because it starts from 0, you don't need the king. King was for shifting when we started from somewhere in between. Here we are starting with 0. So we got 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, 100 marks test. Now because we started from 0, the king is not needed. So what I show you here, x-axis, the scale on the x-axis is 1 centimeter equal to 10 marks. And you see 1 centimeter now represents 10 marks, continuous data. And on the y-axis, we have got 20 maximum. So I'll say again 1 centimeter equal to 2 students. Okay, this should not go out of the graph. In the corner here of the graph paper, you have to mention the scale. So 1 centimeter is 2 students. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I have till 22, but I'll make one more reading, say 22. But I only got till 20. Now from 0 to 20, there are 7 students. So 0 to 20, there are 7 students. This is 7. From 0 to 20, we have got 7 students. So between 6 and 8, exactly between 7, 0 to 20. 20 to 30, there are 10 students. So 10 students from 20 to 30. And from 30 to 40 also there are 10 students. So 10 students from 30 to 40. And 40 to 50, there are 20 students. 40 to 50, there are, this is 20 students. So we'll get something like this. And even 50 to 60, there are 20 students. 60 to 70, there are 15 students. So between 14 and 15, we got 15 students here. 60 to 70. And 70 above, we got 8 students. So 70 to 100, we have got 8 students. So 8 is here. Okay? So this is the histogram we got. Now, do not do with the rough hand. Always use a scale to draw the histogram. So this is the histogram we got corresponding to the table that we made. Now let us see. Do you think this histogram is correct? Let us see. There are 7 students between 0 and 20, so I took 7. And there are 10 students between 20 and 30. So this is 7 and this is 10. So this has to be smaller than this. But compare the area, see the area. You will find the area of this part 7 is bigger than the part 10. And why did it happen? Because 0 to 20 has a class width of 20, while 20 to 30 has a class width of 10. So you can see here, this area is bigger than this. This number is 7 and this number is 10. But this data, you can see this area is bigger. Even here, you can see this area is bigger than this two area. Now this number is only 8. While these two numbers are 10, but this area is bigger. Now why did this happen? So this is not the correct representation. Here this area and this area, this is 7 students. See, it is at 7 and this is at 8. So this is at 8. Now 7 and 8 are smaller numbers, but the area is bigger than 10. Now why did it happen? Because the width was different. So this is the histogram of varying width. Okay, we can take varying width, no problem. But the height that we showed is wrong here, because the area has become more. So it should not come at this height. It should not be at this height. Why? Because we took varying width, we cannot take the same number. So how will we change this number now? How will we correct this? Are you following? See, the class width here is 10. 20 to 30 means 10. 30 to 40 means 10. 40 to 50 means 10. 50 to 60 means 10. 60 to 70 means 10. The width is 10. But 70 to 100, the width is 30. 0 to 20, the width is 20. So because the width is different, we cannot take the same number for all, because the area is getting different. So we have to adjust the numbers. We'll have to adjust the numbers. Now you have to see, to adjust it, what will we take? 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay, so this is all 10. So this is 20, we can convert 20 into 10. This is 30, we can convert 30 into 10. How will we convert 20 into 10? So we'll write here that for 20 it is 7. So for 10 it is how much? So what I will do? Cross multiplication. I will do this 7 upon 20 into 10. Why I did this? I first cut 7 into 20 parts and then I made it 10. So what is the idea here? A width of 20 shows 7. A width of 20 has got a number 7. A width of 10 will have how much? So if you cross multiply, you will get 3.5. Okay? So we are going to maintain. We are getting a class width of 20. But the number should not be 7. Why? Because we have taken the reference to be 10. So we got 3.5. So 3.5 will be somewhere around here. So now this area looks correct. This is 7 number and this is 10. In the same way here, how do we convert the width of 13 to 10? So for 8, we had 30. So cross multiply by 10. So we get 8 by 3. How much is 8 by 3? 2.66 something. So the height should become 2.6 something. So this is where the height changes. So now this is the correct histogram after we have made the proper corrections. So now you can see very clearly this is 10. If this area is 10, this area looks like 7. And this area looks like 8. So the areas have been now been maintained. So you can see we still have got a histogram of varying width. Can you see the width has varied? How do you know the width has varied? Now you can see and understand. In a width of 20 there is 7. So in a width of 10 it is 3.5. So I can do now and break it up into two parts. What I did, till 20 it was 7. So from 0 to 10 it is 3.5. Then 10 to 20 it is 3.5. So 0 to 20 I got how much? I got 7. In the same way there is total of 8. So from 70 to 80, 2.66. From 80 to 90, 2.66. From 90 to 100, 2.66. So total from 70 to 100 I got 8. So I took a reference point and using the reference point I adjusted the width now. Okay? This is just for explanation. We do not need this line here. I can remove this line. It was just for showing. So what I have got this histogram of varying width. Can you see? So the width of the histogram, the width of the column depends upon what class is taken. If the classes have got equal class length, then this will be equal. But if they have got a different class length, it will be different. But if it is different, if the class length is different, then you have to take care to adjust the height. You can see for 20 class length, the height was 7. So a class length of 10, the height will be 3.5. For 30 class length, the height was 8. So for 10 class length, the height will be 2.66 something. So that height you have to adjust. If you do not adjust that height, then your histogram will be wrong. So we have done the histogram today. I hope you understood. You have seen what the kink is. Have you followed what is the kink? Yes, because in the histogram we have got numeric data which is continuous. We have to start. Now this started from 0. Let us say it started from 40. If it started from 40, this gap would be then useless. So we put a kink and shift the data in the front. So kink is for shifting the data into the graph paper. See the varying width. Now you can compare the video of yesterday with the video of today. Today we did the histogram. Yesterday we had worked on what? Yesterday we worked on the bar graph. Now compare them both and see how the bar graph and histogram vary from each other. Okay? Now after we are done with this, we'll move to the frequency polygon. Now can I draw frequency polygon from this data? Let us find out. Okay, now we'll try to understand the frequency polygon from the same graph. You will see how a frequency polygon is drawn. So first of all, for the frequency polygon, you should be having histogram of equal width. We do not take varying width, we take equal width. So we have to make this of equal width. So the data is right, I'll put here the line. So 0 to 10, 3.5, 10 to 20, 3.5, and I'll put the lines here. Okay? So this is done. Now I'm going to draw the frequency polygon. So in the frequency polygon and the histogram, what has to be common is that the area under the histogram and the area under the polygon should remain the same. So for the correct idea of the frequency polygon, the area under the histogram and polygon should remain the same. So how do we draw the polygon? You have to take the midpoints of all these bars. So we do not go from 0 to 20 now. We need to go 0 to 10 and we need to go 10 to 20. Even here we need to go 70 to 80, 80 to 90 and 90 to 100. Now the midpoint of 0 to 10 is 5. So the midpoint is 5. For 10 to 20 it is 15. You have to take the midpoints. You take the midpoints of all the bars. But in a frequency polygon, I have to join the midpoint. So this gets joined here, this gets joined here, this goes joined here. So this is, and this will be joined here, the midpoints. If you start joining the midpoints, then you can see this is an open curve. It is not closed. So what we do, the midpoint of 0 to 10 is 5. So now we'll go 0 to minus 10 and we'll get the midpoint minus 5. So we have to always bring it down to 0. Why we bring it down to 0? From here also 100 to 110, the midpoint is 105. We always join the midpoint. So why we join the midpoint? So that the area becomes closed. So now let me draw and show you. So this dark line is called the frequency polygon, and you will find the area under this bars and the area under the polygon will almost be equal. How you know they are equal? If you can see, let me try to show you. This area which we have got here, which is under the polygon, is the same area here. So the area is adjusted. In the same way, the area under the polygon, but outside the bar graph, this area is represented by this one, equal. So these things are balanced. So the area is inside the polygon and outside the polygon in the bar graph. Even here, the area you can see, this area, this is outside the bar graph but inside the polygon, and this is inside the bar graph but outside the polygon. So this area and this area gets balanced. So if you look at this area also, the area here, it is outside the polygon but inside the bar graph, and this area is inside the polygon but outside the bar graph. Because they are arranging, all these triangles are congruent and equal, so the area under the histogram and the area under the frequency polygon remains the same. So from the histogram you draw the frequency polygon. So to draw the frequency polygon you have to first go through the histogram. So what you did in the histogram, I mean the histogram we should have equal width. So 0 to 20 was there, I broke it down from 0 to 10 and 10 to 20. From 70 to 100 I broke it down, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100. So now everybody got the equal width 10. After getting the equal width you have to find the midpoint. Now how do you find the midpoint? So you see there is an easy method to find the midpoint. Class 0 to 10. So do 0 plus 10 upon 2. What is 0 plus 10? 20. Sorry, 10. 10 upon 2 is 5. And we have got 20 to 30. This class. What is the midpoint? 20 plus 30 upon 2. 20 plus 30 is 50. So 50 upon 2 is 25. So you have to find the midpoint. So you get the midpoint what? 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95 and 105. Why I brought it down here? Because the curve should end. It should not be an open curve. So when I do this, I get the frequency polygon. So this is the graphical representation. Now we have done the bar graph, the histogram and the frequency polygon. Compare these three graphs. Okay. And I gave you the assignment yesterday, if you remember, the IPL has started. Now since the IPL has started, if you are watching TV, see the graphs shown in the IPL matches and try to follow which are the bar graphs, which are the histograms, which are the frequency polygon. Okay, so this year you only have got three graphs, that is the bar graph, the histogram and the frequency polygon. But in the IPL you will see graphs more than that. You might see some other graphs also. So do not worry, those graphs you will get in the next lecture. Okay, in the next standard, in the 10th standard, you will have that. So how will you draw the frequency polygon? I tell you one more time. Whatever is the class length given to you, you will draw the histogram, then take the midpoint. So how do you find the midpoint? If the class is 0 to 10, then 0 plus 10 upon 2, 5. If the class is 20 to 30, then 20 plus 30 upon 2, that is 25. So you get the midpoint, join the midpoints and get the frequency polygon. The other graph shown in the IPL, we will do in the next standard, in the 10th standard. So here we are finishing with the graphs. You have got exercise to finish. So depending on the question, whatever the question asks, draw the frequency polygon, draw the bar graph or draw the histogram. Now you will think it is very easy, and it is very easy, but it needs a lot of practice. And what you have to not forget is, in the graph paper, the legends, the scales have to be shown. If you do not show the proper scale, you will lose half a mark. So show the proper scales, and we are done with the pictorial representation. So in this chapter so far we have done two things. We learned how to make a frequency table of discrete frequency and group frequency. Group means a class, and we have learned to make the graphs also. So now we can finish the exercise, practice and get ready for the test. I finish here. Thank you.